was honked at.
You're watching VTV 15, your source for local government, history, and the arts.
Right now that we don't have a quorum present, although we expect one more member to be here. And if we have one more member, we'll be able to proceed. So somebody tell some jokes or something.
Well, you're live.
Okay.
You're live.
That's what I figured. So
Well,
I'll have to,
so what is everybody doing for Thanksgiving? Traveling out of town?
we're going to be here, which I'm really excited
Okay.
about. We haven't been here in a long time.
Awesome, perfect. Well, we don't have anything, I hear the door. Hey, Justin, how are you doing, sir?
There we go.
Hey, Justin.
Hola. How are you all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Well, good. You are the magic number.
Nice.
You're the quorum. But we got to get your,
This is your.
got to get your sign up. Then we'll be ready to go. All right, quorum is present. We'll call the meeting to order for real. Got one more member coming in now. We're beyond quorum. So first I'll ask for any citizen communications. Anyone wishing to address the commission can do so now. I don't see any members of the public present, but Ashley came in, I'm assuming the door is unlocked. So I
Yes, it
think
is.
if they were here, they'd be upon us. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item C, which is approval of the minutes of the last meeting, which was on October 10th. They're attached to your packet.
I move to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second to accept the minutes as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are accepted. We don't have a large agenda today, but we've got a couple of things. And I guess, Jason, you're going to start us out talking about mosquito abatement.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, good evening.
Hi.
I hope y'all are doing well, and I hope y'all are enjoying this change of weather that we have. One of the items that we had discussed during last month's commission meeting was mosquito, just kind of a mosquito PowerPoint or a mosquito update. And I mentioned to y'all that last year we had presented something to the city council regarding our mosquito abatement program that we had in place. And so that's what I have in front of you today is the City of Victoria mosquito update. Again, this was from June of 2021, so some of the information isn't as relevant as it would be today, but it's really just going to be more along the dates and what we had done at that time. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. We'll chat a little bit about the habitat and the life cycle of the mosquitoes, the reproduction and the hunting, if you will, that they that they go through. The mosquito abatement tools that the department uses, our abatement program, and then again, that season update was for June of last year. So we can touch on that, and we can touch on a little bit of what we did this year, which was really minimal, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, I do have the habitat and the life cycle for you. So the habitat that the mosquitoes absolutely love, and I think everybody can relate to this and understand it, is that still and stagnant water. right? And that's the reason why a lot of times we talk about, hey, make sure you dump out your tires, make sure you dump out pots and all sorts of really, fun things that collect water. The larvae, the habitat range from marshes, freshwater, wetlands, tree holes, ditches, again, car tires, you name it. Anything really that they can just have have those eggs dropped into that water to be able to cling on to something. So the adult mosquitoes, they do hide in tall grass. They hide in shrubs. They literally hide anywhere that they can until it's ready to eat. So the life cycle that we typically see with the mosquitoes are on the right-hand side. It goes from an egg to a larvae to a pupa. Then the adult emerges, and then you end up with the adult biting mosquito. Hey, how are you doing? Good. And then you have the adult biting mosquito, which we'll talk about a little bit more here in the next slide. So how do they reproduce? Well, they reproduce, but they also have 100 eggs every time that they reproduce. So it's a continuous cycle to try to mitigate or at least reduce the amount of mosquitoes that we have within the city. The adult males, they do feed on the nectar, but the females are the ones that are out seeking blood. So those are the ones that actually bite you, all females. So after the females, sense out their blood and hone in on you, they will look for a source to lay the eggs. The eggs, from egg to adult, they typically take anywhere from 8 to 10 days. And then, of course, the breeding can occur within 28 hours after the adult merges. So again, it's a continuous problem that we see. And we do we'll go into a couple things of how we try to mitigate them. The hunting that takes place with the mosquitoes is going to depend on the type of mosquito that are out there. But there's typically two different types. We have the genus of Aedes, which tend to be a little bit more active during the day. Those are the ones that we tend to get calls, obviously, during the daytime on. Those mosquitoes, they typically range a little bit closer to their homestead and only go out to about 200 meters from where they lay down. The other genus is the Culex mosquito. Those are the ones that typically come out at night. Their feeding ranges go out a lot further from 200 meters. They go all the way out to about 1 mile. So that's a lot of the reason why we're looking at targeting some of the areas that we have with some of the traps, and then really focusing on those areas so that way we can spray in those specific areas instead of spraying the whole entire city out. Some of the mosquito abatement tools that we have available to us. The first one is going to be on the left-hand side. Those are what we would call mosquito dunks or larvae dunks. Those are going to be put out before it gets to the adult stage. So remember that life cycle that I was telling you about, the pupae and the larvae? That is where those little briquettes or those little cubes would bless you. Would mitigate any kind of future biting mosquitoes. So those tablets or those dunks get put into the stagnant water, and those are some things. Those are a little more commercial grade, but those are the kinds of things that you can buy at your local hardware store. Some of your big box stores, they have dunking tablets, if you will, that you can put into water that'll help eliminate them. Because that's the biggest source that we want to go after. We want to go after the larvae because once we get to the next stage, which is the actual spraying of the mosquitoes, that's just knocking down the adults that we have out there, right? It's not doing anything to the larvicide, so we know we're going to end up having to do that again in the future. And on top of that, you have harsh chemicals. And those are non-targeted chemicals, so they really hit anything. And so that's the reason why we spray later at night after the sunset, because this can literally kill the bees that we have and all the pollinating bugs and insects, and we don't want to do that. We're just trying to target as much as possible those biting insects or those nuisance insects. So the next two pictures are of the herbicide, if you will, or the spraying equipment that we have. So the second picture is a spraying attachment, or it's a piece of equipment. It's an ultra low volume sprayer that sits in the back of the truck. It's got a gas tank and a place for the chemicals, and we put our chemicals in there. The folks that are driving the vehicle, They can turn it on and off from the inside of the cab, which is that third picture. You see a yellow box, if you will, that's got a lot of little buttons on it. That's where the operator turns on and off that spray equipment. That equipment's constantly running, but whenever they flip on that spray, that's when that spray comes out. You can see also a monitor that's on that third picture. That's a really cool system that we have. It's a GPS system. So that actually follows the truck around everywhere that it goes. On that picture on the right-hand side, you can see there's some green lines over like some darker lines. Help me with this one, Kimberly. The green lines are where we had sprayed and where our equipment operator or operator had turned on the spraying equipment. Anytime we turn it off, it still captures it on that right-hand picture on that map. It's just a darker color. And so you can see like maybe there's a dead-end road where they go down with the sprayer off, they get down to that dead-end road, they turn on the sprayer, and then they start spraying on the way out. And so, right, did I get that right? Okay, cool. And so that's how we're able to identify, A, whether or not the operator actually sprayed, or if we get a call in and, you know, somebody says, hey, I noticed y'all were spraying and you didn't spray down my neighborhood, we can pull this and we can say, yes, we did, or no, we didn't. And it just really holds us accountable too, to make sure that we're not overspraying or putting out any additional product that we shouldn't be. Any questions yet? Okay. Feel free to chime in, Kimberly. So this is an area I wanted to double check, but I'm not sure if we still use aqua resin. I'm getting a head nod that we do. So aqua resin is a restricted use pesticide, meaning that you have to have a license to be able to spray it. So, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, bless you, can't go to Home Depot or to Tractor Supply or any other chemical company and purchase this. You have to be certified through the state of Texas. I mentioned earlier it's a non-selective, which means it kills everything. So everything that it touches, it kills it. We were spraying at the maximum limit allowed, and part of what I have up here is we cannot retreat more than once in 3 days. So anytime that we go out to spray, we literally can't go back in there and spray again for 3 more days. That's all got to do with the label that we have to follow that's on this sheet. Some of the variables that would mitigate us or allow us to not go by that 3-day rule, which means, you know, we could go in there, spray 3 or 4 different times within a week, is it has to be a state-approved natural disaster, and we have to be in recovery efforts, meaning, you know, the hurricane 2017 would have been a prime example for that. Or if there's documented evidence of diseases in humans, animals, or vector mosquitoes, which goes back to the reason why we started this abatement program and why we want to start trapping, because we can actually identify those mosquitoes that have diseases that we would need to reduce for public health. So our mosquito abatement program, we started working on this last year, I believe, and really because we had no guidelines. Quite honestly, what we were doing is we were being reactive to the community's needs as it relates to the mosquitoes. For instance, we were waiting on people to give us a phone call or for our staff to go out and say, hey, you know, I'm getting bit up over here, we're getting bit up over here. And we would just plug away on a map and say, you know what, here's where the concentrated areas are at. We need to go, you know, here and spray or there and spray. Or they're all over the place. We're just going to spray the whole city out, right? But we didn't have really any kind of guidelines, and you know, other than that. So this is the reason why we created this integrated mosquito management program. This is something that it talks a little bit about the mosquitoes. It talks about some of the things that we're going to be doing as it relates to trapping and spraying. It's online as well, I believe, and so the community definitely has access to this. I think it's like a 10-page document. And it also outlines what our levels of reaction are. So, For instance, if we identify an area through a trapping system where we see a particular disease, we're going to go over there, we're going to spray that certain area, we're going to, reach out to the public through communications and say, hey, we've identified a disease in your area through a bloodborne pathogen, or I'm sorry, through a mosquito, and so, we're going to spray, and here's what you can do to help reduce, the mosquito population in your neighborhood. It's kind of where we're at right now, right? I mean, just really trying to get those traps out, and we've identified the locations of the traps. They're spread throughout the city, and it's really just going to be kind of trial and error as far as, when we collect them and where we place them the next time.
Yeah, and one of the things with like where we identify the traps going is there's so much city property around Victoria that we're able to move it as well. So if we are getting a higher call volume in a specific area of the city that isn't within a couple blocks of those phone calls, we can move that trap over to there so we can get a better idea of what kind of mosquitoes are there and if there are any kind of diseases.
So again, this was last year, last June. So as of last June, we sprayed the city out, I think 4 different times. At that time, we put out 100 different larvicide tablets. I think we were getting a fairly decent amount of rain during this update, but I can tell you this year, it hasn't been as bad. I can let Kimberly speak to it. She can speak to it a little bit better than I can, but I know we didn't spray 4 times this year. I think we only sprayed once or twice. Kimberly can kind of talk to the rest of it.
Yes, so with that integrated mosquito management plan that we have, that we shared with you all last year, it shows the specifications of when we spray. So if we don't meet that minimum accumulation of rainfall, then we don't go out to spray. And that was something that people were expecting. The rain's falling, we need to go spray. And that's not the case. We need several inches of accumulated water in order for those mosquitoes to lay eggs. That Jason was talking about, because if you just go out and spray, the mosquitoes can build up resistance to that chemical, and then we have to switch chemicals, or that's just same thing like with people, how they say don't take medication just because. We don't want to do that to the mosquitoes. It kills other insects as well, and we don't want to build up that tolerance. And there's a lot of cities that are moving away from spraying, even after accumulation of rainfall, for those reasons.
Yep. All right. One of the last things that I'll mention is we did update our mosquito map. So you can see the picture on the left-hand side. Again, we were very paper and pencil. It was, just coloring on a map and saying, okay, this is what we can fit into about a 2-hour time frame. And so you can see on the right-hand side, we had worked with GIS, our internal department, and came up with a better map, came up with a cleaner map. I can tell you one of the things that we're working on right now that I've kind of challenged the team is why can't we spray all night? I mean, there's nothing that prohibits us from spraying all night long. Because right now, the way that we currently do it is we have about 5 trucks with the sprayers, and we end up bringing in our team for 2 hours, 3 hours, enough to be able to knock out one of these sections. And so, to spray the entire city out, if it ever did have to come to that, you're talking about 3 days before the entire city is sprayed out. If we're continuing to go through that same way of doing things, versus can we just take an entire day or an entire night and spray out the city? So those are some of the things that we're working on as far as just trying to get down a better efficiency for the way that we spray.
One of the other things that we started working on but weren't able to complete, luckily due to the lack of rainfall sort of thing, is really creating those larviciding maps, finding those areas that hold the water. Since we didn't receive a lot of rain, we weren't really able to go out and survey a lot of Victoria to see where there's standing water. So we can be more proactive in larvicide, which takes way less manpower than it does to spray the whole city, as Jason was talking about.
Yes, sir.
If you did the whole thing in one night, How many man hours or hours you think it would take you to spray?
Well, this has 18 zones, so it takes about 2 hours for each zone. So you're looking at about 36 hours just in spraying.
Right.
In addition to that, your chemical fill up and your fuel and prep and post work, I would say, I mean, you're probably looking at about 45 to 50 hours max.
And with the 2-hour time shifts, you allot for going out, coming back in, doing, the changing of the shifts, and that takes time. That's like, that takes like 15,
Time.
20 minutes.
Do you,
Each, right?
Each.
Yeah.
do you have the time adjusted at night so that I mean, do you spray around dusk and dawn because you want to avoid other insects and spray at night when you can hit those insects that are active at night? Do you need to, can you really use all night, I guess is what I'm asking. Do you need to kind of tail off before dawn and start a little bit late, or I don't know if you could get the,
Yes, so, I mean, we could go out and spray, right now, I mean, we could probably go out there at like 8 o'clock and spray and start spraying.
I know it's dark for hours now, so it's more.
Right, so, yeah, typically, we would want to go maybe 30 minutes to an hour after sunset and start spraying and then stop about the same time, 30 minutes to an hour before.
Yeah.
Just to give us a little bit of wiggle room.
And because, we want the bees to get home nestled in their beds, safe and sound so they don't get sprayed. But then also, there's a lot less people out at that time. There's not people running as much or cycling, so we don't want to spray them with chemicals. And then most of the mosquitoes are out at nighttime. So that was the final piece. Is there's just a larger population of mosquitoes at nighttime versus the daytime, so we're able to get more of the adult population.
Yep.
You mentioned that one species that's more active during the day. Are they also active at night? I mean, do we just not use spray to control that particular type of mosquito?
So they're just not as active, is my understanding. I mean, or we don't have as many of them, so the population is less. And so you still will get those biting mosquitoes during the daytime. It just won't be as, won't be as annoying, if you will, at 7:30 at night. Any other questions?
Is the same people that spray, do they put the dunks out? How do y'all do that?
So,
Shots. I'm sorry.
How do you put the dunks?
go ahead,
Who puts the
Kimberly,
dunks
expand
out?
on that, would you?
With slingshots is my favorite form. I can't throw very far, so that's the next best. I joke, but I don't. But seriously, so it's multiple. So you have typically 2 people that are out in a vehicle, and you drive around and you say, "Look, here's a big pool of standing water." You estimate the size of the pool, and then based on what type of larvicide you're using, because there's all different sizes. There's like the granules, and then you have your tablets. Will depend upon how many tablets that you put in, or if you just like shake the granules in there. For really large bodies of water, like the ponds and stuff that you can't get into, we slingshot it. It was really fun.
Wow.
The perks of the job sometimes. Sorry. Sorry.
You can't speak about it if you don't go and do it, right? So Kimberly went out and used her slingshot to throw.
I borrowed Kim's.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. She came prepared.
But yeah, like Kimberly had mentioned, we do try to be proactive with the larviciding. And so that's the first step. In any kind of stagnant water that we have, we always have those dunks, those mosquito dunks on hand. But those are the 2 biggest things, is really just updating that larvicide map, getting our team on top of it, and really trying to be proactive with it.
Can you use those on private property? Or do you
Yes.
just do that, or do you go ask permission, or how do you do that?
So we only use them on city property, and then we really encourage and recommend homeowners or renters, if you're using the property, you can go out to any of like the home improvement stores and get mosquito dunks. They look like little donuts. They're like this big. You can break them apart into the appropriate size that you need. Like if you just do not have time to clean out your gutters, but your gutters are, breeding mosquitoes, you can like break up one of the dunks and put a few pieces in there instead of you putting a whole dunk in there. But that's only if it's clogged up, because if it is moving water, mosquitoes will not be laid there. So. only stagnant.
And part of our plan that we have is actually going out to private property owner sites to help address some of the issues that they may be seeing. And so I know you recently ran into that, right? Could you just provide that as an example?
So we were getting phone calls from a specific area, and we hadn't had any rain in a while. I mean, we kept getting phone calls. So what we did, we went out to the area from the lady that called, and we drove the neighborhood and we walked that street to see, how many mosquitoes were biting us. There's like all sorts of like really like you leave the doors open, so when you get back in, when you close them, you can see how many mosquitoes have like come inside the truck. Like there's all like these really neat little things that you do to like test how many mosquitoes are in the area. Who would have thought? And then we also survey the area as well. Like there's like big chunks of property. We look at aerial maps. Who has pools, who has the potential for a lot of standing water, and then really just try to pinpoint where it is so then we can help go and educate and work with code enforcement to be like, hey, there is a lot of debris, there's clogged storm drains, things like that, because they can't live in the storm drains if it's getting clogged and mosquitoes come out that way. So there's a lot of factors that we look into. We're like detectives. It's so cool to try to figure this out.
So in that case, were you able to find a source that you were able to put a source for standing water that?
Not really. There was like a big field that was a potential by a storage units, by a bunch of storage units that had the potential to possibly be holding water.
It's a suspect.
Yeah, but there wasn't really any mosquitoes out. Like we didn't get bit up a lot, really any. Because what is it, 5 or 6 mosquito lands, different mosquitoes in a minute period. Very technical. And we
Other perks to Parks and Rec.
That's right. Some, you get to stand out there and be like the tester. And there was no mosquitoes in the truck. There was no mosquitoes on us. So we did not run into that same problem. So we're like, we think it's this field by this storage unit, but we didn't come across any mosquitoes. We went and we walked, no standing water.
Well, what it allows us to do is at least make connections with the community when it comes to something like that. So they see us going out there, they can have those conversations with our team. And, sometimes we may be able to identify, sometimes we may not, a source of the mosquito breeding. And so, I've had other cities that I've worked in before where it's come out the other way. We're able to identify and work with code enforcement on some of the weedy lots that were right behind this resident's house. And that's where her issues were from the neighbors. And so, again, just trying to build those relationships and at least be able to be there for the community and them know that they have that, availability. Awesome. Well, that's, I'll end it with the mosquito, so.
Have any other questions for, it's really interesting. More
It
to
really,
more to it than
really
meets
is.
the eye.
Yes, it really is fascinating. And even like the traps, sorry, I'm gonna like on a whole other thing.
for it.
The way
I'll
you
give
have
it
to
a
like do some of the traps is very so we have 2 different types of traps. We have a gravid trap, which has the water, the standing water, to where you're getting those female mosquitoes to come in. And then we have the light trap, which so that's nighttime, overnight. So you can do just the light, but when we tested it, we found out was that the light attracts all the insects at nighttime. And so if you add in the dry ice element, it has that when it, the sublimation of the dry ice releases the carbon dioxide, and that's what attracts the biting mosquitoes, the female mosquitoes looking for that host for blood. So it mimics that, so you get way more influx of female mosquitoes than you do all the other insects.
So that's what you use dry ice as bait? Okay, that's great.
Who would have thought?
There's like webinars and everything on this stuff. It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting.
We're gonna nerd out on Parks and Rec as much as possible, so
love
don't
it.
give
I
us the
think it's-
platform.
That's great.
Yeah. If I'm ever hunting mosquitoes, I
No,
remember dry ice and
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah. It's always fun to talk about it. I mean, it's been a year too, so it's always good to get back out in front of everybody. But
I had a call recently about that, so I'll be able to report back. All right, everybody ready to move on to our Parks and Rec Department update?
Awesome. All right. Well, thank y'all again. We'll go ahead and run through this. Parks and Recreation Division and everything in between. Wanted to send this, I thought this was kind of a cool picture. We get to go to a lot of different places at times, just really depending on the year.
I was gonna say, I love what you did with Riverside Park.
Right? You like that? Those conservation areas, right?
Wow.
Been working over there.
We were kind of able to, we moved around a lot in October and then, yeah, as far as conferences are concerned, but we had a lot of folks that went to NRPA, which is the National Recreation and Parks Association. We had our sports tourism manager who went to, she went to a sports conference in Florida. And then I was selected to go to Parks and Recreation Summit in Tucson. And so that's a picture of Tucson, Arizona for you. If you haven't been there, it's a pretty cool spot. Was able to check out some of the trails that they have and thought about biking and all sorts of stuff. And so really had my mind going. But it was a really fun conference. I was able to, it was a conference where we had 50 directors and assistant directors from across the United States that were able to meet and just chat for 2 days about some of the issues and some of the concerns that were going on with within the Parks and Recreation industry, and specifically within their city. So anyway, so I just thought it was a kind of a cool picture. I didn't have any pictures of Steve holding up a big trophy like last month, so.
I could have.
Oh well,
Just-
see.
Because Steve, Kim, and I went to a Coastal Prairies conference
that's
in
right, he won
Clear
that too.
Lake at the end of October. And Kim and Steve were the first and third most interactive participants on the conference app. So Steve is now a state champ of engagement for the Coastal Prairie Conference, and Kim came in third. Totally forgot about that till right now. So shout out to them.
Yep. So
Steve's very competitive.
yes. Okay, so we'll get right into Parks and Rec. Just kind of wanted to highlight some of the parks maintenance items that were taking place, and actually some of this stuff is going to be on the project side as well. But we are looking at the renovations of Ted B. Reed. The Parks Department went in and they removed all the old playground. The company came in and they installed this new equipment that you see on the top right-hand corner. And then the Parks Maintenance Division has been going in and kind of cleaning up, doing some small stuff for the contractor to come back in and put the wood fiber in. So they definitely have been working pretty hard on that for probably a good couple of weeks. One of the biggest things is the RV park. I don't know if y'all have been by the RV park since we opened it back up, but you may see a different dynamic of people that are there. We have some, I think we've gotten some really positive feedback on the RV park. Remember, we shut it down at the beginning of October. We opened it back up on November the 1st. We made some changes. We did some updates. So we added some wooden posts to the electrical boxes, added renovated the old electrical boxes and updated those. We planted some trees over at the RV park. We just cleaned up a lot, and we're still are waiting on some signs to come in so we can go ahead and add those to the RV park as well. Part of the biggest part of it was the policies that we had in place. So beforehand, people could just go up to the RV park. It was a self-pay station. And it was a trust system, right? I mean, people either paid or they didn't. And so we kind of had to work through that. So the biggest change right now is people have to come to the Parks and Recreation office first before they go to the RV park. They can go to the RV park, but all those spaces, all the electrical boxes are locked. So nobody can they can break into them if they really want to, but you have to try at least. So what that's done is it's really helped us out. We were able to capture more information from the guests that we have at the RV park. We've also been able to communicate and interact with them more too. And so it's kind of interesting because I chuckled to myself this morning. I heard two of our administrative assistants talking to a couple that was out at the RV park or in to make payment. And it was just a conversation about, hey, we're here. What do y'all think is a good place for us to check out? Where can we go and do this? Where can we go and do that? What about this and what about that? And so we now have that interaction, and so that's really cool. So if you go by there, the RV park has gotten a facelift, and so I hope you go by and you take a look at it and you go, yeah, Jason, they do a good job. We did good.
And Public
The
Works.
rat cards, oh, sorry.
Oh
No,
yeah,
you go
Public
first.
Works shout out.
Yeah, Public Works shout out. They came out and they filled a bunch of the potholes and helped to level some of that stuff while it was closed. So huge deal. Thank you, Public Works.
Yep.
Is there any plans for a restroom or shower house there at the RV park?
That would be great. I think when we move forward with our workshop and we start talking about some CIP projects, let's look at that, because that's an area that was discussed in the master plan about updating that. So let's continue that conversation.
Did y'all also put a lock on the dump station?
No, we removed the big one and made it a smaller dumpster. Part of what we wanted was to have the doors at the top locked and then just have
The dump station for the RVs.
Oh, the dump station. I
Yes,
got you.
sir.
I know where you're going now. The other dump station. Okay. No, ma'am, we haven't locked that up. That's a good point, though. I don't know if that's something that we probably need to look into that.
Because there's a fee on it.
Yeah. We need to also do a better job of just policing it, and so that was conversation that we had with our Parks Division for the weekends. But that's a good point. I'll make sure that we take a look at that. Let's see, splash pads, we closed them down. We closed them at the end of October for the season, and so, yeah,
Can
everything's.
we back up to Ted B. Reed?
Sure.
That playground is super duper awesome. Right now, even in its current state of unfinished, it's amazing. And do you have a finish date? I know the rain could be messing with you on that.
Yes, ma'am. So we're looking to have it open by the end of this month, or the first part of December. Hopefully, it's going to be sooner than that, but that's where we're shooting for, is the end of this month.
And also, I noticed on the handball court, you now have a sign that says racquetball and handball court. Is there any way to maybe lengthen the back wall to make it more racquetball feasible?
Because it's terrible to play racquetball. That ball goes over all the time. You can't play off the back wall for nothing in there.
Handball
I
too, you can't dive.
completely agree.
You dive. I dive when I play handball. I go
That's
right into
great.
that sidewall.
And also, there used to be doors on there. I don't think I've seen doors this week on the
I've
court.
never seen doors there.
Yeah, I haven't either. There used to be doors there?
I don't know, maybe. I took some pictures out there a couple of years ago, and I could have swore there was doors.
Okay.
But, so is there any possible ways of raising that back wall? Because that's really the only free racquetball court in town.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to be a member somewhere. At the Y, that's the only other place I know to play.
Yeah, I'm not sure how high we would need to, I mean, I don't know the standards for those, so we'll look into that and see what it would take to get it to a certain level or adequate level or a
Yeah,
height.
just because you have other walls that are real high there, and the
Okay.
back wall is just the short wall.
Yeah, we'll look into it for sure. See what we can do. Because we've actually been talking about that area too, and all the updates that we have going on at Ted B. Reed, so. Okay.
Jason, back to the
Yes,
RV
ma'am.
park. You mentioned something about policy. Did you guys have a chance to review and possibly change the fee structure and the duration of a stay?
Yes, so the fee structure, we haven't been able to change completely yet. I was able to talk with our finance director, and we've had some conversations with our city manager's office. I think it's just a matter of taking it to council at this point. So we're in the process of looking at the fee structure. What was your other question? I apologize.
Length of stay. I know there was
Length of
some talk about that.
Yeah, so we looked at it, but we haven't looked at it too hard. So we're looking at it, there's still 30 days, and we still have the department still has the ability to waiver, or give a waiver to anybody who wants to stay longer. Is there a recommendation that y'all would like to provide as far as the length of stay, or is that just something that you want us to continue to explore?
I defer to Ashley. Do you know?
Well, I'm good with 30 days as long as it's not, did y'all change your procedures or policies, like for the people that are staying there? I mean, as far as what they can do there, like no more couches, no more vehicles, things like that.
Right, yes.
Broke it down.
So yes, we did. We did change a little bit of that to kind of clean it up, if you will. And part of it too is the enforcement piece. And that's what we're working on with our parks team right now, is really how do we enforce that stuff over the weekends and then after hours. And so we have been working on that. I think so far we haven't had any issues with it, not that I've been aware of, so.
If I ever see anything on the weekend, I'll contact y'all.
Okay.
But-
Well, we have a couple people on staff that work on the weekends, and so that's what we've been trying to figure out, how we can use those folks to kind of be the security, if you will, to an extent.
They do a good job on the weekends.
They do.
I mean, for being, they're by themselves. And
Yeah.
They do a good job.
So Jason, because I don't know, so educate me, but the 30 days is to attract winter Texans, or
The-
how did,
If I'm not mistaken, the 30 days was to just reduce the potential for long stay. So, you know, we don't want to have somebody here for 4 months that is in the RV park. And so, is that what you're asking?
well, I'm thinking 30 days is a long time.
I got you.
Especially if we're trying to, I mean, I'm thinking now, given the size of the RV park, the number of slots there, and then we talked a little bit about how could we use those spots really to promote and support sports tourism and events? And so I'm just wondering, how often do people really stay 30 days? And is that 30-day allowable still a current need?
Right. Well, I could say that depending on what happens with the fees, that may reduce the amount of people that stay that long term, that 30 days. And so that going from $12 to potentially $20 a night may be enough of an impact for them to move. The other part of that is that I think we deal a lot with, from what I get, is people that come here from out of town to work. And so that's kind of where we have that, where do we end up at? Because we have someone who comes in from out of town, but they may leave on the weekend, but they want to leave their camper there. And so they're not there per se, but it's still being reserved. And so I think that's probably why that 30 days was there, is to help kind of with that concern. But we can definitely look at it again and see what we can do as far as sports tourism.
Could they check out for a day and then return for another 30 days?
They cannot stay, I don't know the rule exactly. I think it's no more than 30 days within a 6-month time period, right? So you get 2 months basically out of the year that you could stay at the RV park.
If you're trying to utilize it for sports tourism, we found that it's mostly booked the whole time, so it's not available. During like the Victoria Open in February and other disc golf tournaments that I could speak to, but as far as other events, I don't know.
I guess where I'm landing is like, what's the purpose or the mission of the RV park? Is it to promote Parks and Rec? I mean, it's under your department, and I get that, but is it to promote city? Like you said, when you said people are moving or living there to work here, to me, that's different than supporting Parks and Rec. And maybe, again, like, what's the mission of it? What's the purpose of it? Is there a stated?
Like a tourist attraction, maybe?
Well, I'm just wondering how we got there. We haven't, because this has just come up, and so we've, the past few meetings, Gail, we've talked about duration and fees and all of that, so.
Well, I think that's a good conversation to have, because a lot of what we're doing, we have those same questions. What's the purpose? Honestly, and the master plan, yes, it identifies it being an area, obviously, for people to come and recreate and stay, but it also talks about expansion, in the master plan. And so how far do we want to expand on that? What is the true purpose of it? So I think that's just a conversation that we need to have as a group, to be able to provide us a little bit better direction on what we want to see at the RV park.
And I agree, it sounds like it needs to be done, because providing RV park for housing is a totally different animal in my mind.
Sure.
I think it could depend on the work you're trying to put into it at that moment also.
Yeah.
So if you're just, if you're like going all out and saying it's for sports, but then if you're like, we're kind of keeping it on the back right now for just some sort of passive money coming in that we're just putting small work into.
Yeah.
I just think it's just different based on what you're trying to do at that moment. Because those 30 days are good if we're not putting like just a bunch of marketing and work into specifically making it for sports tourism. But if you're like, okay, we're going all out for sports tourism, then you might approach it from a different perspective then, you know?
Right.
I think for sports, you would be staying 3 to 5 days, maybe a max, not
But
for the whole
you know,
month.
what's been how much have they been asking when we do have sports events? Are they calling and they're asking a lot to stay there? Are they even inquiring about that, you know?
Right. Yeah, and because I was thinking kind of the same thing that you just mentioned. You know, maybe it's something that we need to identify some of those sporting events that could bring in, you know, potential RV, you know, guests and reach out to them and see if, you know, that could be an option for them. Like you mentioned, the disc golf tournament that we have in February. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that and see what we can do. I mean, I think it's a conversation that we definitely need to keep having. I don't know if that information, would that help at all if we were to reach out to some of the sporting events, the larger ones that we have in Riverside Park, at least to start with?
Well,
They could pre-book, if it's
Yeah.
available, they could pre-book. Lots of
think it
players
goes-
know they're coming way in
I think it goes back
advance.
to what is the mission of the RV park?
I agree
Yeah.
with Laurie. I think that's the thing that's baffling to me is why do we have this thing and what are we trying to accomplish with it?
Sure.
And I don't feel like I'm not sure anybody knows the answer to that. I
Like, it
don't.
almost needs its own person in an office over there to give it all the attention.
I agree.
I think increasing it, though, from $360 a month to $600 a month is going to deter a lot of those long-term stays that we didn't want. So I think that's one good thing, but I don't know that we need month stays. 2-week stays might be good enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you make a good point, Commissioner Repka, pre-booking. I mean, with our new software system, with our recreation software system, that's what we're hoping to do, is get the RV park online to where people can just pre-book online. And that way we don't, you know, we can reduce the amount of people that we have coming into the office. And so maybe it's something like that where we pre-book and we have certain blocks, if you will, that are out. But yeah, we can definitely, I can put this on a line or a next agenda if you'd like, and we can talk about this at the workshop.
And if we ever get a park host, then that would be good.
Exactly.
Over there, too.
How many spots are there?
18.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so not a lot, not a lot.
Okay.
Usually get packed. I mean, have you ever known it to, yes, sell out?
Yeah, it's usually booked totally.
Okay.
But we also have a slide coming up that's going to show what the last 3 years of the RV park has looked like.
Oh, wow.
Perfect segue.
Stay
right?
tuned.
So, any other questions? No, really. If there's, do you all want to go ahead and do we want us to go ahead and put this on a workshop so we can talk about the vision for this for the RV park and?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Only got one question, Jason.
Yes, sir.
You know, we talk about how many days they can stay.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, maybe I missed it, but when do you collect, before or after they leave?
So we collect beforehand. So they'll come in and they'll tell us how long that they plan on staying, and that's one of the new policies that we updated.
Because I know you mentioned that some leave without paying or some don't pay.
Right.
But if you pay before you leave, I mean, if they stay for a week, pay for a week, they don't stay a week and 1 day, then, hey, wait a minute.
Right. And part of us having the new policy and having them come in is we're able to get better contact information than what we had before.
And with the locks as well, since all the electrical boxes are locked, I mean, people can still pull up on the weekends or at night, but unless they cut the lock, they're not going to be able to plug in. It's not very enjoyable.
And that's kind of where we're working with front desk and staff and park staff is Friday afternoon, there's a list that's given to the park staff that says, these are our tenants or these are our RV guests that we have and here are the spaces. And then over the weekend, if they see anything that pops up that's different from that sheet, then they let the administrative assistant know after they've, you know, gotten some information.
Can you come in on a weekend?
As of right now, you can, but there won't be any electricity. So you
Unless
have
you-
to do everything Monday through Friday.
You book 48 hours in advance, though.
Thank
So
you.
as long, if we have like, if we know ahead of time and they're able to pay ahead of time, we're able to have somebody go out there and lock the box if they pick spot 17 or whatever.
And that's part of, again, working better with better communication with front desk and parks.
Y'all get any leftover trees or any of that donated to y'all or anything? We should line that entire road and block all that so people don't have to see it as they go down that road. Because that'd be really nice. If we could have trees all along there, so it's like more wooded when you're camping in the RV park.
More trees,
Yeah,
yes.
trees, vines, fencing, something that makes it pretty. Because right now, all you see is RVs. Like, that's not pretty. Like, when I go camping, I want to camp in the
Right.
woods. So,
Right.
and I'm sure they do too.
We've, we went ahead and put in, I think, 6 trees last Thursday, I think it was, last Wednesday or Thursday. So we did add a couple more trees to it. Yeah, everybody knows when a tree gets taken down that they owe me 3. So Rolando's got about 9 that he owes me right now. So. Otherwise, with parks maintenance, one of the biggest things that we're doing is reviewing the playground safety inspections. That's a conversation that we just kind of kicked back up again last week. Oh, and I forgot the duck pond fish removal. How could I forget that? I'm sorry. So you see, so we had a really great fish fry. No, I'm just kidding. You see the picture of the two team members. Those guys. Whew.
Playing in the mud.
So yeah, literally, there's nothing to paddle, right? They were literally pushing themselves through the mud. They got about 100, a little over 100 fish from the main duck pond area. We moved them over to the secondary pond. That's on the golf course. Turtles followed, the geese followed, so we're good. Any questions on parks maintenance? Okay. And Kimberly.
So on this slide, we have sports facility rentals from the last 3 years, the 3 fiscal years, so October 1 to September 30. It just kind of shows where we're at for last year. I know there was some conversation last month about our numbers. We were like, let's just show them all.
Does the softball numbers on the top include the tournaments that are, not the tournaments, that the regular leagues play, like the Little League and, well, that play regularly? Or are these just tournaments?
So this should be all field rentals that we have, regardless if it's a practice, a game, or a tournament. Ideally, it should show all of them. I don't think it is, though. But that's what our reservation software system says, and we need to use it.
So I see the biggest changes between 21 and 22. Well, you've got that giant 31 and 57. 31 rentals of the stadium, baseball, and 57 for the baseball field. What's the big, means that that's, your curve just went,
Yeah.
what was that?
Little League.
Little
Little League.
data.
That's a really great question that I
It's
will.
almost cut in half, like, I don't believe it.
No, we pulled these numbers and our superintendent said the same thing. He's like, those numbers need to be higher, I think. And
Yeah.
it all goes back to, we are using different software systems. And so part of what we're revamping currently is our recreation software, which would capture a lot of this data too. And so we'll have better information, hopefully, in future months.
Yeah, because I know that youth sports places, kids,
Yeah.
I probably passed by more times than that, seen something.
Well, in 21, we were still dealing with COVID, so anyways, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
But the sports was one thing that was still allowed to go, was outdoor sporting tournaments. Those were like one of the only things that had the green light during COVID.
Could they still play baseball? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Okay.
Cool.
So this next one I feel a lot more comfortable with. We have
Yeah, forget that other slide we just showed you. Just focus on this one.
My apologies for that. So these are the last 3 fiscal years of the pavilions, gazebos, RV park, and that shows the number rented for each place for the entire year.
There's the RV park.
And one of the things that we heard with the RV park was there was a lot of people who didn't want to be staying there because of just the way it was perceived the last few, prior to October. So really that summer month and into the beginning of fall, we had a lot of people that, didn't want to come and stay there. So I think that really impacted our rentals as well.
Didn't you also see an uptick with COVID? People were, I think, moving around to find, a lot of people were on the road.
I'm not
Ready to
sure.
get back out.
Yeah, they were, and because you didn't have to, you could work remotely, or, and, because I think that's what I remember walking by during COVID, that whole year, it was booked a lot more, so.
Is the Riverside Park Pavilion by the duck pond? And then what is the multi-use pavilion? Where is that?
It's over at Community Park, over by the youth sports complex and pickleball courts.
Basketball courts
The basket, yeah.
Thank you, the
court.
basketball courts.
with the cover on top.
Okay.
Yes, it's like technical title is the multi-use pavilion, but yeah, it's the basketball courts.
The RV park numbers are those nights? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's about
I don't know if this.
50% used, then, isn't it? Right at,
Is this something that you would like us to provide to you maybe on a quarterly basis, or would you just prefer to have it at the end of year? I know there was, like Kimberly had mentioned, there was conversation about our rentals, or even monthly. I mean, we can do that as well.
quite.
Personally, every 6 months, maybe?
Okay.
I think every month is a lot of work. Quarterly, I don't know we'd see that much change, but maybe
Okay.
at the 6-month mark, or I could live with annually, so.
I just want to make sure that we're able to provide you the data that,
People are
that you want
getting
to see.
to use the pavilions as needed, right? Y'all don't have usually if people want a pavilion, they're able to book one, right? So.
And what's the slab called at Riverside Park between the ballpark and the restroom? That's not on here. Like the
special-
Zumba slab, I call it.
The special events area is not listed on here. I'm not sure why it doesn't, and I don't know if it's because the way our system is currently set up to where it's blocked with the use of the Riverside Stadium. I think that's quite bizarre as well, but that will be fixed in our new software system.
Yeah, even the amphitheater was used a lot last year versus years past and this year.
Thank you, Victoria Community Theater.
Right? Okay, any other questions on this? We'll look at, if there's other head nods or direction, we'll keep this for a yearly update unless otherwise noted. Cool. And Kimberly.
All right, recreation programs and events. So October was a really great month, and November we're excited for it. It's a lot of planning in the month of November. So we still have our tennis clinic, Colors on the Trail, STEM-tastic, Senior Crafternoon, and we'll be finishing up adult softball and kickball. And then last Wednesday, as we talked about, we did Arbor Day tree planting at the RV park with the 6 trees. It looks beautiful. And then coming up, we do have a tennis game day on a weekend, which is really exciting. We're hoping for a nice turnout for all those kids who've been doing the tennis clinic the last few months. We have our youth hunting program next Tuesday, and then we have Christmas on the Square Friday, December 2nd. And then we have Christmas Parade of Lights Saturday, December 3rd. Each person should have received a hanger for your car that will get you VIP access on Forest Street for the parking for the Christmas parade. Please put that on your rearview mirror, hang that there, and that way Ryan, who will be working that barricade, will very easily let you in. And then you can go see Miss Jessica in the VIP area. She will have hot chocolate and coffee and cookies and greatness for you, you all there, as a big thank you for your continued support and being on our commission.
Thank
Any
you.
questions about any of our programs or events? We are, Alex, one of our rec coordinators, he has gone off to seek other dreams and ambitions. So we are down a rec coordinator right now, and we are hiring,
Okay.
just to let y'all know.
In regard to the Arbor Day tree planting, are y'all only doing at the RV park 6 trees, or is it going to be a big rollout?
So this year, it was just at the RV park for Texas Arbor Day. Next year, we'll be doing something bigger. Yeah.
It was a very last minute, we weren't really planning on doing anything for Arbor Day. And one of the conversations that we had with the RV park was, hey, we need to plant some trees anyway. It was one of those spontaneous, well, heck, let's just roll it into a quick Arbor Day. We put something on social media, I think the day before. I mean, we weren't expecting anything major, and then all of a sudden, we're planting trees, and we've got the Crossroads came out with a video camera, or like the lowest promotions that we've ever pushed out, and we got, the TV station there. But nonetheless, I mean, it was a great event, quote unquote. But it was really just trying to get that day recognized in some way, shape, or form.
Are you going to do a bigger plant like in April, like throughout the parks?
No, we won't do anything until the next Arbor Day as far as like a large tree planting. We'll do the one-off tree plantings here and there. Like I mentioned to you earlier, Rolando owes me 9, so he'll do some tree plantings over this winter. But nothing significant. Not until next fall.
Are there still trees left over from the last purchase that aren't planted yet?
No, ma'am. No, we either planted those or I don't want to say got rid of those, but had them adopted by folks at other events. Any other questions on recreation? No?
Next month, we'll have the numbers of the last couple of years as well for rec programs, what we've been able, like the number offered, number of teams, participants, things like that.
One thing that I did want to mention to you, and it'll be coming out through communication and email, is we do plan on having some ribbon cuttings and groundbreaking ceremonies for the dog park and Ted B. Reed. And so we have Ted B. Reed scheduled for a ribbon cutting scheduled for December the 2nd at 9 a.m. And we have a dog park groundbreaking ceremony scheduled for December 7th at 2 p.m. All of that information will be coming out to you via email, and we'll send out a calendar invite as well. But anyway, just kind of wanted to throw that on your radar since we are talking recreation and events.
On this slide that you have right here on programs and events, didn't you have a pickleball tournament or pickleball clinic or pickleball something going on?
Not recently. There was one over the summer, I believe.
There was a big one a week or two ago, but it was a different organization, I think.
Y'all did have like a pickleball instruction thing. I remember that.
Over the summer, but the most recent one was not run by us.
In regard to that pickleball court, is it a new thing or is it a refurbished area? Like, was it old tennis courts refurbed into pickleball? That's what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really nice. It's
It
really
is.
nice.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah.
What's I don't want to say up and coming sport, but it's definitely right there in your face, that
It is
pickleball.
here.
So
No, it's catching, it's
Yeah.
getting traction.
Is there any way that we could put some pickleball, like maybe on the north side of town at like Tracy or
Yeah.
Ted B. Reed? That's becoming my favorite park. It's so cool. It's so awesome.
It's a really great park. Nice little walking trail. Go get ice cream afterwards. I love ice cream.
yeah, you've got everything right there, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We'll look into that. Let's see what we can do about throwing some pickleball courts up there.
I mean, isn't it really just refurbishing? Like you've got, how many tennis courts at Tracy right now? Like 4? And you could make 4 pickleball courts out of 1 tennis court, so maybe just one of those courts could be transformed. That would be super awesome. I think you'd get a lot of play out there.
Yeah, that is definitely something that a lot of agencies are doing is making them, able to play for both.
Multi-use.
Yeah, like truly make it those multi-use courts and having, different color lines on there and temporary nets available and things like that. Something to explore.
And I like that floor, just like, maybe in the future, if they ever do another basketball court or something. I think we do have that pavilion, but I think one thing that puts a lot of guys that play off is the damage to their knees from playing on the concrete, from
Okay.
jumping up and down when you play basketball. And this is just in the future, like
Sure.
having that some kind of different flooring, like they do on the tennis courts. They do it, and has that different flooring.
Right.
And I think they can even do it over existing concrete. It doesn't have to be inside of a building or anything, but they have different flooring for basketball courts, similar to like they would do on a tennis court.
Okay.
I just thought that I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, because we were talking about transitioning from something that's existing already, because they do have those floors that go right on the existing concrete that we have outdoors.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely look into that. We definitely have enough people that play basketball, and I think that's the biggest one that we have is over at the community park. So, yeah, we can look at all that, see what we can do about flooring, and then see what we can do about some pickleball courts, or at least incorporating pickleball into the current tennis courts that we have. Absolutely.
And maybe striping that racquetball court at
Right.
Ted B. Reed.
Yeah, I've got that on the notes too. Okay, awesome. Any other questions on recreation programs or events? No? All right, so we'll get into the golf course and community center real quick and then chat about projects. So here are our October stats. October's going to look a little bit different than last October because we had the flooding going on last October, so we had the park closed down for about a week or week and a half. But nonetheless, this October they've done really well. You can see the year-to-date sales is 106,000. We had 111 tournament rounds. We had 303 practice rounds with about 3,100 total rounds at the course. Some of the larger events that we have going on in November are right there listed on the right-hand side. The youth hunting program is going to be taking place, and that's going to shut down the golf course for one full day. But then we'll be open back up that following day. So the youth hunting program is only going to affect us for one day at the course. Here's all the really good numbers. The golf course stats. So we have the golf rounds on the left-hand side. October, again, the biggest difference was the fact that we had the course, opened up the entire month versus closing it down for the flood. And the golf revenues are going to be the same just because our fiscal year started in October 1. So everything's just starting back over again. You have any questions on the golf course?
Jason, what's that big jump between the end of year rounds for 21 to 22? Is that from 1945 total rounds to 3117?
Sure. So that's October of last year versus October of this year.
Oh, that's not year to date on the far right column of the golf?
Oh, I'm sorry, far right column. Yeah, so the rounds year to date, I apologize, that's what we have, every October 1, our fiscal sheet starts over again, and so that's what we're going off of by the year to date rounds.
It's the same.
So last year,
It's the same month.
right.
The month is
Right.
the year.
Because we
It
started over.
just starts over, yes, ma'am.
Ah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, last year I think we were at like 32,000 or 31,000, somewhere around 31 or 32,000 rounds for the year.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions on the golf course? Okay. Community center's been doing really well. We had 12 non-city functions, which, yes, sir.
Question about the golf course. How long was it closed last year?
I believe 10 days.
Okay.
I believe 10 days. I can double check on that for you. if you
It
need.
it wasn't the entirety of October.
No, sir. It was about a week and a half, if I can remember correctly. Community center, we've been seeing a lot of events coming into the community center again, which is great. A lot of the events that are outside of the city, you know, some quinceañeras and some weddings and some other just random events. So in the month of October, we had 12 non-city functions taking place over at the community center. We had 5 either city meetings or trainings, and we had 1 recreation program that took place, with a total of 18 rentals throughout the month of October. Sports tourism. Really quickly, sports tourism's been, we're gearing up for next year. We've had 51 sporting events or tournaments that were held in 2022 as it relates to sports tourism. We are continuing to work on the 23 Winter Games of Texas. This year, we're looking at having some different categories. I think one of them that Michelle's been working on is archery, which is going to be, hopefully, if that makes, it's going to be really cool. But we are trying to add some additional sporting events to the Winter Games. One of the things that Sports Tourism Division has been working on pretty heavily is the Parks and Recreation Facilities Assessment. And so we just had a conversation with that group last week, just kind of refining the scope. And so I look forward to working with Joe and his team probably here within the next month. So again, that recreation facilities assessment is going to look at all of our facilities that we have as it relates to sports that we own as a city, going to give us a recommendation on any improvements. This company is also going to be doing a market study and finding any gaps or just finding out what the market looks like here in Victoria as it relates to the sports tourism industry and giving recommendations based off of that market study as well as off of our facilities assessment. So looking forward for that facilities assessment to kick off hopefully by the end of the year. We'll definitely bring all the stakeholders, you as a commission involved with that as well, to the table to, chat with the consultant. Once they get going and the firm is rocking and rolling, we're looking at about 3 to 4 months until it's completed. So I would say by April of next year, we'll have a facilities assessment in our hands.
Community Center Arena maybe on the agenda for looking at rodeo for there?
Yes, ma'am. So community centers is on that as well.
Can I give him a little plug real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Joe Fackel is the person that we're working with from the Sports Facilities Network. Michelle and I met him at a conference back in May that we attended. And one of the things that we really liked about this company was that they look at Parks and Recreation as a whole. A lot of the work they do is with Parks and Recreation departments, and they look at our facilities and really doing a 365-day-a-year model. How can we use it with the community, and then how can we use it for sports tourism as well? So they really bring a lot of that Parks and Recreation philosophy and serving the community and how to best pair it with tourism to really get the most bang for your buck. And that's something that we really, really liked because we felt like they really understood our work as Parks and Recreation practitioners. So just a little plug on the Sports Facility Network and why we chose them.
Yep, excited for them to get rocking and rolling. So, yeah, any questions on sports tourism or community center? Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over community center.
Well, it seems like if the community center actually did get geared toward rodeo, then you wouldn't be having hosting monster trucks or anything like that in the arena, right?
As multi-uses we can get them. I'm just kidding.
Right, I mean, that
Well,
is
supposedly they need a special ground to run the horses on.
The problem with our arena is it's too narrow. So if it was pushed out further, we would be able to have,
Big grounds there.
like team roping and those kinds of things. As the way it stands right now, we can't do that. It's just too tight. So, but yes, I mean, part of the facilities assessment would be able to look at that and say, hey, this is what you would need to provide X, Y, and Z.
Or maybe you just need a whole different location for rodeo.
That could be a recommendation. I'm as excited to see it as you are, it sounds like, so.
Well, all the surrounding towns have big rodeo, but
Right.
we don't. So.
Right. Yeah, we hear that a lot too. Rodeo's big, and we hear that a lot as well.
The really, really good facilities like in Gonzales, right? And then
Edna.
Edna, or Jackson County over there, yeah.
That's the thing, is there a need then if we have really great ones in surrounding counties that are being utilized regularly? Like, I mean, are we gonna have a want for it here and a need? I mean,
Right.
Schrader Hall's not being very busy and they're pretty close, and we hear all the time that we need concert venues. We have an amazing one right down the road. And they're not selling out.
Well, actually, I hate to say this, but Schrader Hall, as far as a concert venue, it's more like of a bar concert venue than a real concert venue like Concrete Street Amphitheater. The sound for the big bands, they're just not bringing it, was my experience. Love Schrader Hall, it's a beautiful place, but as far as big concerts, the sound just isn't there.
Well, that's what that facilities assessment is going to help us with. It's going to help us in the market study as well. And, that market study is going to say, is there a need for it or not? And with the stakeholder meetings that we're going to have, hopefully we can bring in some of those groups that are, the rodeo, demographic. My gut feeling is more than likely, yes, we would probably need some kind of a rodeo area, or at least an arena. I had the same issue when I was in Bastrop. People in Bastrop would drive 2 hours to go down to Gonzales. And and we had an arena. It was just one of those things but you're not keeping it up to par, right? And so that's what that facilities assessment is going to help us with is, yes, there's a need. Yes, we have it here, but you're not doing what you need to bring in the people. Or it could be completely opposite. And they say, no, we don't have a need for it in Victoria. They can continue to go to Gonzales. But that's exactly what that's going to help us with, is identify those issues.
Another key point too is Victoria has lots of professional rodeo folks that come from here that are professional rodeoers.
Right.
So.
Oh, we got the livestock.
Yeah, I like rodeos. I was just curious if there was a need when we have good ones
Right.
like in Edna.
Right. Oh, that's a valid point.
Yeah,
You build it, they come, right?
Maybe
so
that-
I hear.
Maybe that's a role parks could play, is maybe facilitating someone else to come do it, because it's a need or something like that. If we
Well,
can't end up,
we don't have the venue to attract the promoter to come.
that's what I'm saying, maybe there's someone else that wants to make a venue in Victoria.
Right.
And
Bring a venue.
perhaps if they would
Sure.
recommend that we need it or whatever.
My brother-in-law has a rodeo arena in his backyard. So yeah, there's people out there that would take an interest in that, building that project.
Awesome. Well, any other questions on that? Cool. We'll go into the projects. Fun stuff. So I've got two of the major projects that we have up here, but I'm just going to kind of verbalize some of the other projects that we have going on. One of them is the golf course path. It's going to be a reroute. I didn't have a picture of it because we didn't really have one. But because of this duck pond and that loop that's going to go all the way around the duck pond now, we have to shift tee boxes over on the golf course. So that way we have less golf balls trying to come into the pathway of people walking around that loop. And so that's an item that we're going to be currently working on over the next couple of months. We just opened up the bids for that project last week. And we're going to be moving forward, hopefully with a recommendation to City Council by the end of the year. And so that is going to go hand in hand with this project, the Duck Pond project. And the golf course project is about $70,000 roughly. So this is the Duck Pond. We're already rocking and rolling. October 25th, here are some pictures. This is before they really started to pump down, well, they did start actually pumping down the pond at this point. You can see, I like that picture on the right-hand side where the old pier was at, or the old dock. So that's where the water level used to be, and that water level was way past that. But that's a picture of the duck pond as of October 25th. Move forward to November the 4th, just to give you an idea of where this is at. This is the right-hand side of the duck pond if you're looking at it from McWright. So the smaller section, if you will. You can see where that excavator is at. There's a little pathway. That's something where they're exiting out of the pond with the dump trucks. We are looking at about 900 truckloads worth of dirt coming out of this duck pond that are going to get placed all over the park. And so we've got a lot of dirt that's coming out of there. One of the things, before I forget, that you'll see on this next slide is the picture on the right-hand side is a picture that kind of shows that median of the right side and the left side of the duck pond. The left side is where we removed all the water and got rid of all the fish. That, it doesn't matter how much we dry that out, it's going to continue to rain, which is great, but there's going to be a lot of sludge on that, in that dirt. What we're going to end up doing is taking that sludge and moving it, I don't want to say moving it down to Pebble Beach, but we're going to dump it kind of close to the Pebble Beach area where that pavilion's at in their big open green space. And that is just to reduce the amount of mud that we're going to end up having on the roadway if we were to take it from this location to the location where they're dumping at currently. So we're just trying to mitigate the amount of mud that we're going to have on the roadway in the park. So I just want you all to be aware of that. If you do see mud,
Is it
it's going to be
stinky?
headed. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be for a little bit. The idea is that obviously whenever it dries out, we can either add some more topsoil and cover it up, or we can just spread it out. But I just wanted to make that clear that you may be seeing some mud on the roadway, but it's all going towards the Pebble Beach area. So this is a picture of November the 9th, not too long ago. The picture on the left-hand side, one of the things that you may find interesting is right there where you can see kind of the base material. That's going to be where the wall is at and the foundation for the vertical wall. So that way we have erosion control, and then we'll have the sidewalk on top of that. So that's going to be all the way around until you get to a point where you see those three guys in the vests down there, basically bending around that corner. And then the picture on the right-hand side is just, it's just another picture of them cleaning up the pond. As of right now, everything's on schedule. They're still looking at October of next year to be completed. Really, they're rocking and rolling. I mean, do you have any questions for me on this?
Are you down to the good dirt yet?
We're getting there, yeah. The one on the right hand, well, the smaller of the two ponds, yes, we're to that good dirt. And we're spreading that, again, we're spreading that out throughout the park system, so we have some good dirt available. Cool.
Did the zoo get the pebbles from the pea gravel from Ted Reed? Do you know? Did they end up getting any of that? No.
We have some if they need it,
still have
though.
some?
Yeah.
I told Steve to reach out. I'll follow up and find out.
Okay, they need pea gravel.
Do they?
So they'll take
Okay.
it. They need it for their bird sanctuary.
We're going to be using some of this too for some of this dirt for that back area.
Awesome.
Yeah, because there's tons of it here and they need a ton of it.
You still going to be able to keep that schedule for building that hill in Fox's Bend?
Yep, we're still
For the
looking
disc
at
golf
that.
course?
Yes, ma'am. So once we have some of this dirt, again, once we have some of that good dirt, we'll be
Yeah.
able to drop a couple loads off at that location. Absolutely. Any other questions on the duck pond? Cool. Next one's Ted B. Reed. This is a picture of October 26th. Ted B. Reed was, I think this was like day 2 when they were out there. So those folks are rocking and rolling. November 3rd, I added the fogginess. But yes, it does look good. It was all installed, I believe, by this date right here, November the 3rd. Some of the issues that we were having is staff needed to come back in and raise some of the lower areas up because they have 12 inches of the emulsified wood fiber, the mulch that's coming in. So we had to add in some low areas, but other than that, I mean, the project's moving forward. Again, looking at having this open by, the end of this month, first part of December, for sure, before we have that ribbon cutting on December the 2nd, so.
Is the finished product for the wood fiber on site right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it seems like regular wood charged. It doesn't seem springy.
It is. And so, so that's the biggest difference that we have between this and some of the other parks that we have. Like Ethel Lee Tracy, for instance, they have the poured in place cement or poured in place rubber material. We just didn't have the funding for it this
I
year.
expected the wood fiber to be more spongy, though. Is
Oh.
there gonna be a spongy membrane under it, or?
It'll be spongy whenever it's 12 inches. So you'll feel it whenever you get on this new playground. It won't have this, it won't be as firm. I don't know if that
Like
even
right
makes
now in the
sense.
mountain that it's in, it just seems like regular wood fibers.
Right.
Like something you'd put in the flower bed, not
Right.
to
Right.
fall on and play on.
Yeah, when you get it a foot thick, though, there's definitely some give to it.
Okay.
It will get compacted, and so, our team will have to go in there and just kind of disc it every once in a while, or even add in some mulch as it starts to deplete, but, yes, ma'am.
It's looking very awesome. I'm very impressed by this playground.
I appreciate it, thank you.
With that type of wood fibers, that still maybe could have the potential in the future to change it out if there ever was money like that in the budget, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's not something that's glued or resin together, it's just all loose.
Correct, yes, sir.
So
I think
that
it's
would
a
be
good
cool.
choice for a surface for the playground.
So yes, we're really excited about this. Again, that Ted B. Reed ribbon cutting is going to be December the 2nd at 9 a.m. And so we'll have that sent out to everybody. But these are the biggest projects that we have going on in the park system right now. We have Ted B. Reed and obviously Riverside Duck Pond. One item that I will mention to you is the dog park. I don't have a slide on it. We are taking, we did put it out for bid, the construction documents. We received a couple of bids. We scored those bids, and we are planning to take a construction contract to city council tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be able to move forward on that construction contract. That contract's gonna be with, By Grace, Floors and Construction, which is out of the San Antonio area. We have used them before for some updates to Riverside Park Stadium. They actually came in and assisted us with some of the items over at the soccer field when that was getting built. And so we're very familiar with them. Hopefully, city council approves the contract tomorrow, and we can move forward with bringing them down here and going through the whole, pre-construction meetings and all that fun stuff, and get them rocking and rolling in December. The project is 6 months, and so we'll be looking at having that completed, let's just say the first part of summer of next year. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. One item with the dog park that I did want to just bring up for a quick discussion is the hours of the dog park. We haven't really talked about that at a commission level, and so, I just want to get your input as far as, the hours for the dog park. We can look at it just keeping it the same as Riverside, or we could look at
Yeah, I would
doing
think it
something
should be the
different.
same as Riverside.
Okay. I mean, we do have lights there, so I mean, it doesn't really make sense for us to close it at dusk if we've got lights in the park, so. Just wanted to bring that up if there is any other thoughts from the commission as far as the park hours for that.
If we have delinquent dogs hanging out there late at night, we may have to do something, but until then, okay, we'll start out.
Depends on the
and give it a try.
damage.
Okay,
I think if it's well lit, it'll be good
okay,
out there at night,
okay.
safe.
Right, yeah, summertime at night, I mean, not everybody wants to get in by, 8:30, so you got folks that maybe work late or shift or something like that, and they want to take their dog out at 9:30 or 10, so, okay. Well, with that, that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
That spring toy right there at Ted B. Reed, I so hope one day we can find an adult one with a stronger spring on it. That one kind of bends over with big people.
Oh, they'll
I
try
wouldn't
it
know by
anyway.
experience,
they'll
but I'm
try it.
just saying.
All those videos.
Gotcha. Just, if nobody has anything, just a further reminder about January, we have the workshop that we're going to have over at the Parks and Recreation Administrative Offices. Jessica, if she hasn't sent an invite out, she will be sending one out, so that way everybody's on the same page. And yeah, that's all I have.
I'd like to speak at the next meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, perfect.
thank you.
Jason, Kimberly, Jessica, thank you guys very, very much tonight.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. future agenda items. Anybody have anything to put on the agenda for,
Well,
Next time.
that would be me. I'd like to speak at the next meeting. Sorry, I jumped the gun on that.
you what, you,
Oh, just that I would like to speak at the next meeting to go on the future agenda.
okay.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Get you on
Thank
there.
you.
Make room.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Very good. Well, if there's nothing further from the commission, we'll be adjourned.
All right.
Thank y'all.